Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Step into the sand.
This is Macabre Grimoire with Ari Show, Travis Nye, and Robert Mayley.
Hey everybody, welcome to Macabre Grimoire, Chapter 15, The Toynbee Tiles. I'm your host, Ari Show, here with my co-host, Robert Mayley.
Hey.
And Travis Nye.
Hey.
So, the Toynbee Tiles. I first heard about these when I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Bizarre States. And I just think it's kind of interesting that they're random, they're everywhere, and they've been going on since the 80s, which I think describes a lot of 80s bands.
Yeah. So, the Toynbee tiles, also called the Toynbee plaques, are messages of unknown origin found embedded in asphalt of streets in about 24 major cities in the United States and 4 South American cities. Since the 1980s, several hundred tiles have been discovered. They are generally about the size of an American license plate, although some are considerably larger. They contain some variation of the following inscription. Toynbee idea, in movie 2001, resurrect dead on planet Jupiter. Which, that's what caught my attention, was...
on planet Jupiter?
I was going through documentaries, and I was like, resurrect the dead on planet Jupiter, or whatever, is the name of the famous documentary they did about this.
Oh!
And I was just like, what the hell? And then I saw the Toynbee tile on the cover, and I was like, what is this? And that documentary kind of opened the door. I was like, this is a thing? I was just like, holy shit, that's so weird.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So the Toynbee tiles were first photographed in the late 1980s, and their first known reference in media came in 1994 in the Baltimore Sun. A 1983 letter to the Philadelphia Inquirer referenced a Philadelphia-based campaign with themes similar to those mentioned in the tiles, i.e., resurrecting the dead on Jupiter, Stanley Kubrick, Arnold J. Toynbee, but did not refer to the tiles. In the United States, the tiles have been officially cited as far west as Kansas City, Missouri, and as far north as Boston, Massachusetts, and as far south as Washington, D.C. Since 2002, very few new tiles considered to be the work of the original artist have appeared outside the immediate Philadelphia area. Many older tiles considered to be work of the original tiler have been eroded by traffic, but as of 2011, older tiles remain in Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and in some South America locations. On June 19th, 2013, the tiles resembling the Toynbee tiles appeared in the street in Topeka, Kansas. They were removed by the evening of the next day. Less than a month later, on July 17th, 2013, a tile resembling the Toynbee tiles appeared on a street in Salt Lake City, Utah.
So like a copycat, possibly?
Yeah, that's the vibe I get from the documentary, is that there was a lot of copycats that came after this. Because, I mean, even Travis, when you first heard the idea, the first thing you said was like, we need to put some of these in Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like, immediately, that's everyone's reaction.
Yes.
It's like, I want a Toynbee tile in my city.
I want to do it, too.
It's like, puts you on the map,
I want to be special.
Wish I was special. Yeah, I will spare our audience any more of that horror. Commonly, a city will have a couple large, colorful tiles with numerous small, simple tiles. In a documentary film, and like I said, this is the documentary that really inspired me with it, Justin Dwyer assumes that Toynbee refers to the 20th century British historian Arnold J. Toynbee, and that Kubrick's 2001 is a reference to the 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey, a film co-written by and directed by filmmaker Stanley Kubrick about a manned mission to Jupiter.
Interesting.
There's actually a website for people who speculate about this, and so, I mean, obviously, it's a big thing on the web. Toynbee.net website speculates that Toynbee refers to Ray Bradbury's short story, The Toynbee Convector, which is something, until I researched this episode, I had not heard of, and I'm a huge Ray Bradbury fan, so I was like, what? The majority of the tiles contain text similar to the ones we've been talking about, and the one that'll be above here in the show notes, although a second set is often found nearby. Several of these allude to a mass conspiracy in the press, including newspaper magnate John S. Knight of Knight Rider, the U.S. government, the USSR, even in tiles that are seemingly made after years after the Soviet Union's dissolution, and then it's disputed here on the source, which this was from Wikipedia, claiming that there were a few that claimed there were Toynbee tiles that mentioned conspiracies with Jews, but I didn't find any images of those or any other references other than the Wikipedia mentioning it, and even Wikipedia put a citation needed on that.
Yeah, we need to prove that.
It's kind of a common trope, though, of conspiracy theories, so I guess it wouldn't surprise me, but we can't substantiate it.
Sure.
The writing is of similar style and poor quality.
Oh, so probably not.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a tile in Santiago, Chile, that mentions a street address in Philadelphia of 2624 South 7th, Philadelphia. Pennsylvania. The current occupants of the house know nothing about the tiles and are super annoyed by people who come to ask. Oh, that'd be the worst.
God damn.
Though this is the former residence of a resolute recluse and alleged tile maker who basically the 2001 documentary film Resurrect the Dead, The Mystery of the Toynbee Tiles.
2011 document. Is it 2011 or 2001?
2011,
okay.
sorry.
No, it's
okay. 2001 because we're saying 2001.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure that when people go to it, they're looking for the right thing. Yeah.
It's the only documentary I've seen that's called Resurrect the Dead, The Mystery, so hopefully they can figure it out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The original's better.
Toynbee tile enthusiasts believe that the native Philadelphian created the Toynbee tiles because of a large number of them that appears in the city, and with their apparent age and variety of carving styles, the presence of the tile creator's screed and the Philadelphia address in the Santiago tile. So basically, there's a lot of evidence pointing to the recluse guy that used to live at that house was the original progenitor of the Toynbee tiles. So it's just kind of like a street art thing, kind of like a pre-Bansky. I mean, there's been other street artists, but he's the most famous one that I know of that people who don't know anything about street art know existed or exists. Let's see. I thought this was a part that was interesting to me as I was researching it, was all the different theories about where this could have come from, because apparently the Toynbee idea has a lot of speculation, and it's a thing that a lot of people have talked about, so it's just but I had never heard of it. So here are some of the possible subjects. Arnold J. Toynbee's The Idea. According to letters written by the tiler allegedly uncovered by Toynbee tile researchers in Philadelphia in 2006, Toynbee's idea stems from a passage in Arnold Toynbee's book called Experiences. And here's a quote from the book that they think this came from. Human nature presents human minds with a puzzle which they have not yet solved and may never succeed in solving. For all that we can tell, the dichotomy of a human being into soul and body is not the datum of experience. No one has ever been or ever met a living human soul without a body. Someone who accepts, as I myself do, taking it on trust, the present-day scientific account of the universe, may find it impossible to believe that a living creature once dead can be brought to life again. But if we did entertain this belief, we would be thinking more scientifically if we thought in Christian terms of psychosomatic resurrection than if we thought of shamanistic terms of a disembodied spirit. Interesting.
I have no idea what to make of that.
So basically he's saying that if there's a resurrection, if there is indeed a Christian resurrection, as the religion portends, in the Revelation and stuff like that he thinks it will be a psychosomatic kind of more of a physical, science-based, utilitarian kind of resurrection than a magical little sparkles will fly out of the sky and the dead will be reconstituted, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
He's saying there'd be more of a mechanism behind it.
And this is where the idea stems from, this passage in this book.
Yeah, this passage, this idea of
zombies versus spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a mechanical resurrection rather than a spiritual one.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
There you go. I can dumb it down for you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think I got caught. I think when you said dichotomy, I was like, okay, and then I just got lost. I was distracted.
It's quite the chunk there.
That happens to me whenever like there's like a word and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that word in a while. And then I basically go in ADD mode, and I'm just like, I completely like detach from what's actually happening. So I apologize.
No problem. Okay, this is another theory, and this is a shout out to my boy Ray Bradbury. And apparently he has a short story called The Toynbee Convector. Here we go. Another possible interpretation of the Toynbee reference comes from science fiction writer Ray Bradbury's short story, The Toynbee Convector, which alludes to Toynbee's idea that in order to survive, mankind must always rush to meet the future and believe in a better world, and must always aim far beyond what is practically possible in order to achieve something barely within reach. Thus, the message might be that humanity ought to strive to colonize Jupiter, as in Clarke's work, or something greater to survive. So basically, kind of in that vein of like utilitarian, like physical universe, don't look inward, look outward, and that humanity should constantly push its boundaries.
Right.
And then Arthur C. Clarke, which Arthur C. Clarke also ties into, he was, the other writer on 2001: A Space Odyssey along with Kubrick. Arthur C. Clarke's short story Jupiter 5 involves a spaceship named the Arnold Toynbee on a mission to Jupiter. It contains elements common with 2001. 2001 itself has a lot about, like the obelisks, bringing people back to life, or like making them gods, basically, around Jupiter. This one's more of a stretch. This is, if you're familiar with the famous playwright David Mamet, he has a play called 4 a.m., and he kind of like latched onto it and says the Toynbee tile thing is totally based on his play, because in it, he spoke of his belief as tiles as homage to one of his plays and has described it as the weirdest thing that has ever happened. In his 1983 work called 4 a.m., a radio host based on Larry King impatiently listens to a caller who contends that the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, based on the writings of Arnold Toynbee, speaks of a plan to reconstitute life on Jupiter. The radio host quickly points out the factual errors in the caller's assertion and the logical fallacies of his plan. Now, the researchers of the 2011 documentary.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I want people to have the correct information.
No, I know.
It's not bad.
I'm terrible.
Claim to have uncovered several pieces of evidence that predate Mamet's play, which would kind of shoot a hole in this theory. But I think it's funny, it's kind of that synchronicity we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so Arthur C. Clarke was talking about this, Ray Bradbury was talking about this. This is clearly like a thing that's out there amongst futurists, spiritualists.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Everybody's on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and then they cite a 1983 article in the Philadelphia Inquirer in which mentions a local man who is contacting all the local talk shows and newspapers to spread the message about bringing the dead to life on Jupiter as depicted in the film 2001. Which, weird day to get that call.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being like though if they're like in a major city for a talk show, they get like probably the weirdest calls anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
Especially in the 80s when those were like huge.
Right.
Yeah. And so here's a little bit of an aftermath here. There is no public or private agency dedicated to conserving Toynbee tiles. Many of the tiles now exist only as photographs taken before their destruction. The tiles have enjoyed attention from American and European media outlets, including the New York Times, the Chicago Sun-Times, Spiegel Online, NPR, and in 2011, I almost said 2001 again, Philadelphia-based filmmakers Justin Durr and John Foy, Colin Smith, and Steve Winicki released Resurrect the documentary. The film selected for 2011 Sundance Film Festival in the U.S. documentary category, and Foy won a category's directing award.
How do you get a directing award on a documentary?
It's all about lighting and
I was going to
angles.
say, there's no baggage or any
because you're not really
strong opinions there, right?
you're not directing anybody. You're literally interviewing people unless you're directing the overall project. Even like, I don't get...
The expert is like, this is the tomb of Alexander the Great.
Cut, retake.
Yeah, it's like, could you say that with more emphasis and then mention the bomb?
Yeah.
What bomb? To spice things up, we're going to have like some explosives on the body. What?
This
How did you
is
even get in there?
Right.
this is a historical dig site. No, it just doesn't pop on screen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What a weird kind of cool thing. But there's evidence in other things within, our world where if somebody like it's been there's like these certain types of monkeys where on an island like
Oh, I know what this is called.
you know what I'm talking about?
Keep talking.
Okay.
The name.
So you're giggling.
I have no
Travis.
idea where this is going. I'm like,
so
what
there's
are-
these monkeys, and these scientists gave them like this fruit, but they tossed it into the sand, and some of the monkeys would just eat it with the sand on it, but the younger monkeys would like wash it off in the water, and then eventually the older monkeys started adapting that behavior, and then they found that was a preferable way.
Symbolic dissidence.
Yes. Symbolic distance effect. So then what ended up happening is that another set of monkeys on a completely different island far away from these group of monkeys, so these two groups of monkeys don't even like see each other, interact with each other or whatever, but basically it's the theory that if the thought is in the matrix, then that thought grows and gets spread. And so
they're like
basically
dolphins.
this other group of monkeys ended up washing their fruit in the water also, and it was just so completely like interesting
because the communities are completely unconnected, but once that idea was unleashed,
right,
it was everywhere in every member of the species.
And the thing this has been documented not just with these monkeys, but also there was some sheep in, we'll just say, I don't know, Ireland. I'm just
Bangladesh. Can we go to Bangladesh?
Sure, Bangladesh. Why not? So, anyways, there was these sheep, and in order for them, like the sheep wanted to get to basically from point A to point B, and in order to get around the fence, this one sheep decided, oh, I'm gonna roll underneath the fence and get to what I want to get to, and so the one sheep gets down and rolls, and then the other sheep in the herd see him do this, and so then they start doing it. Well, then other herds start doing the same thing to get out of the fencing, to basically get loose, and so then the shepherds had to basically account for that. But it was herds that hadn't even seen these sheep rolling were adapting this. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So with the Toynbee tiles, the fact that there was these separate themes and similar ideas going on at about, I don't know, I wouldn't say like the same time, but like basically in the Matrix, so to speak, is very interesting that you can pull all that together. So I think one of... I
think we have the name of the wrong thing here. I think symbolic distance is something else.
I think it is too.
I will figure out what this is, though.
You should just look at rolling sheep or monkeys with sandy fruit. Or learning to wash potatoes. I think it's potatoes. Yeah, this is what it is.
MonkeyWashingPotatoes.com. No. 100th monkey
Yes,
effect.
that's what it is. Yep. But it doesn't get ground until it gets to like a certain number, and then like a certain amount of people actually do it, or animals or whatever doing it, and then it explodes and it goes everywhere. So
this kind of just blew my mind a little bit because I do a routine called 100th Monkey, and I never knew why it was called that.
Oh, well, there you go. So if you want, I can read that first paragraph on the 100th monkey.
Sure.
It says, the 100th monkey effect effect is a hypothetical phenomenon in which a new behavior or idea is claimed to spread rapidly by unexplained means from one group to all related groups once a critical number of members of one group exhibit the new behavior or acknowledge the new idea. One of the primary factors in the promulgation, that's a word, of the story is that many authors quote secondary, tertiary, or post-tertiary sources which have themselves misrepresented the original observations. So that's what it is. It's a pretty cool thing, and it happens with basically like all walks of life. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So I think that that's kind of what this Toynbee is. Yeah, I do believe that there is one source of the inspiration for the Toynbee tiles, which created the tiles in the first place. But there's just similar works at about the same time that kind of contribute to not understanding. Basically, fuck. I can't. I hit my apex of.
You're okay, but yeah, it's and this isn't just for this Toynbee thing. This is actually, we could do a whole episode about this down the road. It's just like there's the atom bomb is the big one that pops in my head right away. Where it was like there were teams that made the breakthrough like simultaneously, all like 3 different ones all over the world, at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
That made the same breakthrough that made it fission bomb possible.
Right.
And there's a bunch of other technologies where it happened at like the exact same time, and so then it was like they'd go to court because they're like, you stole my idea, and it's like, no, everybody just had the same idea, even though they were like isolated from each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And you see that with movies too, where it's like they couldn't have, because movies take a long time to plan, generally, to put together and plan and everything else. So when you have 2 volcano movies that come out like instantly, it's not always that one studio was like, oh, we're going to one-up them. I mean, sometimes that happens, but lots of times it is just like that was in the zeitgeist.
Right.
Like with, Deep Impact and whatever the other, or Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon and Deep Impact. We did a whole episode on similar movies on Chaos Reigns. I'll have to find that episode title. But yeah, we did a whole episode on similar movies and being released about the same time. So yeah, no, so that's kind of what I think some of this is. But yeah, but it says a lot about the energy that is around all of us at all times, and that we're actually all kind of on the same wavelength, because like your thoughts have an energy to it, your actions have an energy to it, and so the fact that some people that you can tune into those different energy wavelengths says a lot, because it's provable, but you can't exactly measure it because it's so random. Because it's like, how do I know what am I going to be the 100th monkey on this particular idea? I don't know, So yeah, that's what the psychic has to say about that.
So yeah, that was the Toynbee tiles. I think they're super fascinating. If it's still on Netflix, you should totally check out that documentary. I found it super fascinating. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us again, and have a great week, everyone. Be sure to check out all of our podcasts at thesioempire.com. Be sure to check out Midwest Medium. Is that what it's
called? Yeah, I launched my page, you guys. You can come and go to my page. It's called Ari Nicole Midwest Medium on Facebook, or just if you go facebook.com/Ari Nicole Medium, that's how you can find me. And then on YouTube, it's Midwest Medium. I don't know if I'm going to be launching a Twitter feed or anything like that, but you can definitely contact me at those 2 sources, and reach out to me anytime if you want a reading. I'll be doing gallery events and intuition development. I do release monthly horoscope videos for you to kind of peruse at your leisure, and those are always released once a month, and then eventually I'll start having live Facebook events and meditation Mondays and all kinds of cool stuff once I get my in-house studio set up. So yeah,
very cool. And then Travis, and the magic of Travis 9. Be sure to check that out.
Yeah, I have in-house readings. I'm going to be doing
Oh, what?
Oh wait, no, sorry, that was that whole 100th monkey effect there. Sorry. See, sorry, I didn't steal it. I just had the same idea.
Of course.
Yeah, so you can follow me at magicoftravisnye.com. That links all my Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. I've kind of abandoned my Twitter, so don't get on Twitter to look for me.
You can. You're just not gonna do anything about it.
Out of it.
Yeah, right. So I don't really use it.
I go on Twitter just to kind of read. I never post anything because I don't think I have anything clever enough to say on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's an East Coast, West Coast thing. It's not really used in the Midwest.
No, it truly isn't.
So it was a waste of my time.
Reporters really like it, and then also for like live events, it can be, even in Sioux Falls, it can actually be pretty good. But generally, yeah, about 80% of the referral traffic like that the Sioux Empire gets is Facebook.
Yeah.
This is Sioux Falls, where we're based at here, is definitely a Facebook heavy town.
Oh,
Yeah.
super Facebook heavy.
Yep.
When do you think this episode will drop?
Like a month.
Okay, so. Oh well, I don't know if it's that time for us to plug our stuff, like our dates and stuff. Or
Mine
is
will
that
have
too far
already
out?
be going,
Yep.
Oh.
if not gone.
Well, I have a holistic health fair coming up on November 10th at the Body Lab Expo. If you want to come down and see me in person, and I will totally give you a reading. I think I'm charging only $25 for that.
So you're not giving a reading?
Well, I'm gonna. What do you mean not giving a reading? What?
You said I'll give you a reading. I'm
Yeah.
only charging $20.
For $25
There you go.
in 15 minutes, I will give you a reading.
There you go.
So there, that's November 10th, and that's far enough out that I think this episode will be live by then. So
Told you I could represent myself. Flashback joke.
don't man.
Call back. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Macabre Grimoire is a production of the SiouxEmpire.com. Learn more at macabregrimoire.com.